Number 1. What political party was strongly based on the idea of stopping the expansion of slavery? A. Free Soilers, B. Know Nothing, C. Southern Democrats, D. Federalist. Number 2. This poster located in Boston, Massachusetts was a warning against what part of the Compromise of 1850 that the South wanted the most? A. Slave trade in the District of Columbia, B. The admission of California as a slave state, C. Fugitive Slave Act, D. The admission of Utah and New Mexico under popular sovereignty. 3. Uncle Tom's Cabin was written by which of the following abolitionists? A. Harriet Tubman, B. William Lloyd Garrison, C. David Walker, D. Harriet Beecher Stowe. Number 4, which of the following statements would illustrate Stephen A. Douglas' opinion about slavery in the new state as expressed in the Kansas-Nebraska Act? A. It is the duty of the Congress to protect the right of slave owners to their property, slaves, in all states. B. The status of slavery in the new state should be determined by the vote of the people. C. Slavery should be outlawed in the lands acquired from Mexico. D. The Missouri Compromise is the legal way to decide the slavery question. Number 5. Based on a cartoon of the Sumner Brooks incident, which event of the decade of crisis is most likely to lead to this event? A. Conflict over the Dred Scott decision, rising tensions related to the Compromise of 1850. C. Increasing division and violence related to Bleeding Kansas. D. Publications of books like Uncle Tom's Cabin. Number 6. Based on your knowledge and map, how will slavery be determined in the Kansas and the Nebraska territories according to the Kansas-Nebraska Act? A. Popular sovereignty. B. Both would be free. C. Both would be slaves. D. Slavery was not discussed in the Kansas-Nebraska Act. Number 7. California was part of which territory gained by the U.S. to apply for statehood, leading to crisis over the issue of slavery? A. Mexican Cession. B. Louisiana Purchase. C. Oregon Treaty. D. Adam-Onis Treaty. Number 8. What conflict between Free Soilers and Democrats is this cartoon illustrating? A. Harper's Ferry, Virginia. B. Sumner Brooks incident. C. Bleeding Kansas. D. Compromise of 1850. Number 9. Which of the following documents proposed during the Mexican War in the 1840s suggested that there would be no slavery in the territories gained from Mexico, not passed by Congress? A. Fugitive Slave Law. B. Wilmot Proviso. C. Kansas-Nebraska Act. D. Popular Sovereignty Doctrine. Number 10. The idea that the people of a state vote on whether or not they want slavery is called A. Secession. B. Habeas Corpus. C. Copperheads. D. Popular Sovereignty. Number 11. Which of the following was not an effect of the book seen here? A. Increase the support of slavery in the North. Made Southerners defenses about their way of life. C. Caused more people to listen about abolitionists in the North. D. Increase the likelihood of Southern secession. 12. Which of the following people is not correctly matched with their achievement or events during the decade of crisis? A. Harriet Tubman, Underground Railroad. B. John Brown, Kansas-Nebraska Act. C. Henry Clay, Compromise of 1850. D. Harriet Beecher Stowe, Uncle Tom's Cabin. 13. Which of the following was not a group or belief that formed of the Republican Party in the decade of crisis? A. Southern Democrat. B. Free Soilers. C. Northern Whigs. D. Opposition to the expansion of slavery. Number 14. The Dred Scott decision in 1857 reopened the issue of slavery in the Louisiana territories by declaring the blank unconstitutional. A. Missouri Compromise. B. Kansas-Nebraska Act. C. Fugitive Slave Act. D. Judiciary Act. 15. Which of the following was not true under the terms of the Compromise of 1850? A. California was admitted into the United States as a slave state. B. Slave trade was not allowed, but slavery was in the District of Columbia. C. Utah and New Mexico were admitted under popular sovereignty. D. A strong fugitive slave law was passed. Number 16. How did the Dred Scott decision in 1857 limit the power of the federal government and the support states' right? A. Stated that only the president could stop the expansion of slavery. B. Stated that only a treaty made between North and South could stop expansion of slavery. C. Stated that slavery could not exist anywhere in the West. D. Stated that Congress did not have the power to limit the expansion of slavery. Number 17. Which of the following was true? John Braid's raid on Harper's Ferry in Virginia in 1859. A. Overthrow the government to make sure that slavery is allowed forever in Virginia. Start a slave rebellion in the North so the Fugitive Slave Act would be enforced. C. Captured a federal arsenal to give weapons to slaves and start a slave rebellion in the South. D. Make sure slavery was established in Virginia under popular sovereignty. Number 18. Which of the following is not true about the election of 1860? Lincoln was elected president and the South seceded. B. The Democratic Party split resulted in a Republican victory. C. The Southern states voted for Abraham Lincoln. D. 4 different candidates won electoral votes. 19. Which of the following events led John Brown to make the statements below just before he was hanged in 1859? I, John Brown, am now quite certain that the crimes of the guilty land can never be purged away but with blood. I had as now think vainly flattered myself that without very much bloodshed it might be done. A. Passage of Kansas-Nebraska Act. B. Election of 1860. C. New Republican Party formed. D. Raid on Arsenal at Harper's Ferry journey. Virginia. 20. What position did Stephen Douglas state in the Freeport Doctrine? A. That slavery was protected by the Constitution throughout the U.S. territories. B. That the slavery could only exist if controlled by the police to prevent conflict. C. That slavery was an issue that should be avoided in national politics. D. That slavery was morally wrong and it should be abolished in Congress. 21. The main issue in the debates between Abraham Lincoln and Stephen Douglas was A. Extension of slavery to the territories. B. Abolition of slavery. C. Representations of blacks in Congress. D. Building of transcontinental railroad. 22. Based on the painting of John Brown above, which of the following actions in the decade of crisis would he most likely have supported? A. A peaceful protest outside of Congress. B. Violent attacks on pro-slavery leaders at Potawatomi Creek, Kansas. C. Organizing petitions against slavery. D. Publishing an anti-slavery newspaper. Which was the first state to secede from the Union? A. Georgia. B. South Carolina. C. Alabama. D. Texas. Using the above map, which of the following was true above the election of 1860? A. The southern states thought that it would be a huge victory to elect Abraham Lincoln. B. The Democratic vote was split in the North between two candidates. C. The northern states most voted for the Republican Abraham Lincoln. D. The southern states voted for Stephen A. Douglas for popular sovereignty. 25. Which of the following events led to the first secession of a southern state? A. Bleeding Kansas. B. Compromise of 1856. C. Election of Lincoln. D. Firing on Fort Sumter. 26. Which of the following doesn't make up the Republican Party in 1854? A. It consisted of Northern Whigs and the Northern Democrats. B. It was for the expansion of territories under the idea of popular sovereignty. C. It consisted of former members of the Free Soil Party. D. It was opposed to the extension of slavery into the new territories. 27. Which of the following was not an abolitionist? A. John Brown. B. Stephen A. Douglas. C. William Lloyd Garrison. D. Harriet Beecher Stowe. 28. Which of the following was a result of the Dred Scott versus Sanford decision? A. The Missouri Compromise was declared unconstitutional. B. The Dred Scott, his wife, and children were set free. C. The doctrine of popular sovereignty was upheld as lawful. D. Any slave taken to free territory were therefore free. 29. Which of Lincoln's election resulted in which of the following? Southern attack on Washington, D.C. B. Secession of the southern states from the Union. C. Repeal of the tariff abominations. D. Special runoff of election to determine the presidency. 30. When was the California territory acquired? The L.A. Purchase. B. The Compromise of 1820. C. The Territory of Paris. The Treaty of Paris, 1783. D. The Mexican Cession, post-Mexican War. 31. The Dred Scott versus Sanford decision stated that A. Slaves were United States citizens and allowed to sue in court. B. Blacks and whites were politically equal. C. Congress could not prohibit slavery in the territories. D. Slavery was not allowed to exist in the southern states. 32. The Compromise of 1850 allowed California to be admitted the U.S. as a free state. Why would this cause uproar in the southern states? A. This decision also abolishes slavery in the territories. B. The decision upsets the balance of Congress for the first time since 1820. C. Utah and New Mexico were also to be added as free states. D. The decision also ended the slave trade in Texas. What state did border ruffians enter to vote against slavery? A. Missouri. B. Nebraska. C. California. D. Kansas. 34. Abraham Lincoln believed in A. Slavery spread into the northern states. B. Slavery being decided upon by popular sovereignty. C. No slavery should extend into the western territories. And D. The immediate spread of the religious revivals in America. 35. Why did Congress end slave trade in Washington, D.C., but allowed slavery to remain legal? A. To appease slave traders. B. To reduce tensions between northern and southern states. C. To allow the balance in Congress to tip toward the north. D. To support their stance on slavery.